How do you know when you're allergic to poison ivy? Is it just like a trial and error thing? What do you like?
Unfortunately, I think so. I've actually never gotten poison ivy. I've gotten rashes from certain plants, but not poison ivy. Ash is very, very allergic to poison ivy. Like, she has to go on prednisone usually if she gets it. It like doesn't go away. It just spreads. And we have a ton of poison ivy in our yard right now. So
yeah, I think I'm about to find out.
Because your backyard, a lot of poison ivy back there.
Yeah, I think
back there in Tiverton.
Yeah. When Jeremiah says, let's go outside and do sports, we go outside and do sports. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got some poison ivy back there.
Oh, boy.
So I think I'm going to find out.
You've never gotten it before?
Not that I know of. Like,
okay.
I could have come across it before and just have never, and maybe I'm not allergic, but I'm pretty, like, almost 100% certain this is poison ivy, and I'm going to find out whether or not I'm allergic to it.
Yeah, you should find out pretty quickly. It seems like in our yard, it comes out like in full force this time of year before there's leaves on the trees where it gets a lot of sunlight.
Yeah.
And then once the leaves kind of fill in, it just like dies out. And once other stuff starts growing in our yard.
I got to get that crap out of there, dude.
You can't get it out. You can spray that. Like half the stuff you can buy to spray for it is like way worse than poison ivy itself. It's like the kind of stuff that it's like, this is illegal in 7 states.
I'm just
only use this once per year.
I'm just going to like burn it.
No, you don't do that.
Don't
You've never
burn
heard that story before? No, you can't do that. You've never, like, people that have burned poison ivy and they end up inhaling some of the smoke and they get like poison ivy on the inside of their lungs. I'm about 99% sure that's a legitimate thing because it's oil that's in poison ivy. You absolutely do not want to burn it and be in the smoke. Well, you just got to deal with it.
I guess
I just saved you. You could have just, you would have been the ER like, Nick, I burned the poison ivy.
I burned it.
And I breathed in the smoke. No, I'm pretty sure that could be really bad. You don't want to do that.
Well, I guess I won't burn it then.
Listeners chime in if I'm wrong about that, but I've heard some stories about that before. No, that's always like a story like you hear about someone's like cousin's friend that did that or something, but I wouldn't do it anyways. You can look it up online.
You've convinced me. I won't burn it.
Probably a good idea. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the PUDs Podcast. So what's going on, dude?
What is up, my man? I am so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too.
Hear your voice. It's so good. So good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We had an unexpected delay from our beautiful trip in Palm Springs for an extra night. But I was texting you back and forth a little bit. It gets kind of weird. Not like 3 hours is a big difference, but it's enough where you kind of got to think about when you're like, I wasn't going to reply to people's texts at 9:00 on Pacific time at night.
Yeah.
And like wake them up and stuff.
Yeah. That's okay though. I tried to do the same thing here, and because I'd get to work and be like, oh, I should text Nick something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably like 5 a.m. He's definitely not up.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We didn't sleep in super late when we were there, but we had the good old, like, I feel like your body just starts to get used to sort of that time, and then you like come back.
Yeah.
So now like my alarm's been going off at like 7:00, and I'm like totally out of it.
Yeah. He threw me off because I haven't. It's been like a whole week, dude. We're like on a weekly thing now, and I didn't get to see you last week, so I'm like, oh man, I missed my buddy.
Yeah, I missed you too.
Yeah,
your haircut looks good.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Your tan looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, we got pretty tan. It turns out Southern California, you can get pretty tan. Mostly, I think, from when we were in Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
In the desert.
That's awesome, dude.
Pretty sure the sand reflects the sunlight. That's what it seems like, anyways.
Yeah. Makes sense. That makes sense. You're missing out on the beginning of T-ball season, I'll tell you that. You're missing out.
Yeah, is T-ball really ramping up?
Yeah, T-ball's ramping up. We got a squad. We're putting them out there. Yeah. We I jumped in this year and like I'm an assistant coach, so I'm coaching.
Did you do it? Yeah. Now, did you do it willingly, or was it because I'd just like to refer back to whatever episode where you ranted saying that you were never going to coach T-ball, and then like the next week some dude asked you, "Hey Josh, do you want to help coach T-ball?" And you were like, "Sure."
Yeah. No, this year I did it willingly because I was kind of after last year when just the first couple games like not participating and like throughout the practices not participating. It's like sitting there with all the moms, and I'm like, yeah, this is I can't just sit here and just yell at my kid from the sidelines. At least I can be next to him and yelling at him.
That's cool.
Stop drawing in the dirt.
It must be fun to a degree though, just to be like chilling with the kids and getting them amped up. And are you doing anything at practices and things too?
Yeah, we do practices. We practice like hitting and fielding and stuff like that and throwing. But yeah, it's fun because it's really cool because they're all really good listeners. But it's also very frustrating because none of them are athletes yet because they're all 4, 5, and 6 years old. So it's like you tell them to do something or you want them to do something, they just physically can't do that yet. And it's like...
You're just yelling at them to like have better hand-eye coordination. They're like, I can't. It hasn't happened yet.
Or just like...
I haven't blossomed.
Step with the proper foot when you're throwing the ball. Like just that like... the fine motor skills to do that stuff. You're like, you can pick up a ball now.
Right hand, right foot.
No, right hand, left foot. Right hand, left foot.
See, I'm already wrong.
Yeah, you're not coaching. Yeah, you're not coaching T-ball.
Well, now that you say it, if I was gonna throw something though, now I'm thinking about like that does make sense.
Yeah, but just that act of doing that, like you and I could pick up a baseball and just know how to throw it and what foot to step with. But to try to get kids, like I said, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds to do that is like almost impossible, dude. It's crazy.
Make sure they don't throw the ball at like each other or anything like that.
I mean, it's a T-ball, so it's like spongy. So
that's true.
Yeah, Jeremiah got hit in the face once, but he shook it off.
Oh, that's good.
Rubbed some dirt on it. Yeah. But yeah, so that we're fully ramped off into that, and that's
how long is the season?
Till like the middle of June. So not too long.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
not
cool.
too long. A lot of games, a lot of practices. But like I said, it's good. It's good to have a bunch of kids that are actually listening too, because nothing's worse than like trying to go through a practice or a game and you got like kids running around in the outfield just running in circles doing whatever they want. It's like, all right, well, at least if you're gonna show up, at least like participate in what's happening here. So we have all the kids we have this year are actually doing that. So it's actually like really nice.
Do you have any of those like super spastic kids on your team? Like I feel like when I used to play soccer as a kid, there was always that one super weird kid that just like didn't stop, like running all over the field, like throwing up and doing crazy stuff, eating things, and
that might be Jeremiah. No, actually, he's actually really good. I think because I'm on the field too, it's like a lot different.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, there's definitely
with your dad there. It's different.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple. One kid was decked out in like a full Sonic costume at the last practice. So
that's
like,
awesome.
All the way down to the shoes, and I'm like,
Mommy said it makes me faster.
Yeah, it makes me fast. I said, all right, well, use your supersonic speed and get around them bases. Oh man,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's fun. And then we had opening day for the Joshua Tiverton Invitational for the 9-hole little par 3 course that
looked very cool.
It was legit, dude.
That's a follow up too, because you mentioned so
it's bucket.
Is it bucket golf?
Yeah,
bucket golf.
Yeah,
you mentioned
so it's
it last
bucket
episode.
Golf. Well, I gotta figure out what we're gonna call it, but I think it's gonna be the Tiverton Bucket Golf Invitational. I think that's what I'm gonna call it.
Because you have to be invited.
Yeah,
you can't just go to this thing.
You can't just show up and play. This is by invite only. This is a private club. But
I expect like actual formal written invitations.
Yeah, you gotta
just be like, show up.
Yeah, you gotta dress appropriately too. You can't just go out there in whatever you want to wear.
No jeans, baggy shorts. I'm talking collared shirt tucked in, pants or golf shorts, nice golf shoes.
We do spikeless. We do spikeless golf shoes though. You got to do the spikeless. No, you can't ruin my lawn. Actually, it might be good. Might be good for aeration. Bring the spikes. Wear the spikes.
Bring some metal spikes.
Yeah.
Do they wear cleats in T-ball at his age yet?
Yeah. Yeah, they have cleats.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're plastic. They're all plastic.
Yeah,
cleats
they're all
now, right?
plastic cleats. I don't think.
I feel like when we were kids, I feel like they were metal cleats for baseball.
Yeah, the metal cleats were like.
They were
like cool to have when you were younger, but I think they're kind of like not even really a thing anymore.
No, I know metal spikes on golf shoes aren't a thing. I was curious. I just because I remember one time like being like, oh, I'll wear like my baseball cleats to soccer practice because I played a little bit of baseball as a kid.
Yeah.
And like the soccer coach was like yelling at me because it like destroys the soccer field.
Yeah.
Like way worse.
I'm sure
like way worse. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, put your sneakers on. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this field's trash anyways. It's behind like a church and there's geese shit everywhere. I don't know what I can really do harm. Just trying to get some extra traction.
Yeah, you got me on defense, coach. No. I'm not going to be running too much.
For real,
anyways.
I think it was because you can mess up someone with metal cleats a lot more. Like if you slide tackle someone in soccer, you can like really destroy someone with metal cleats versus plastic.
For sure, dude.
I think that was the real reason.
For sure. But yeah, so the Tiverton Invitational is underway, and we played 18 holes. I finished 3 under, so pretty good.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I can't wait to get you over here to play this because it's actually way more challenging than I thought it was gonna be. But it's super fun. Like Jeremiah played, Melissa and Jeremiah played, and she like rolled Sawyer along in the carriage as we were playing from hole to hole. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome if you had like your golf cart and everything, like your little hand cart, like with you pulling that out around.
Had to pull out my irons and I think I got 120. I got 120 to the hole. But
what's the furthest one you set up? I was actually gonna ask that.
I don't know, dude. I know the hardest one I set up is like I set up the tee box at the bottom of the hill that's in my yard. And you had to hit it up the hill and like land it on top of the hill. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that does sound tricky.
Yeah, so that was really tricky.
Not break any car windows. Did you put the cars in the garage?
So it's not golf balls. They're like almost wiffle balls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. It's really fun.
That seems a lot less dangerous.
Yeah. It definitely is a lot less dangerous. You want to hear some danger though, dude. While we were playing. We heard like this rustling in the woods, and then we looked over. There was a 6-foot snake in the woods, dude. Just
was it one of those water snakes, the black ones?
Yeah, one of the black racers. Yeah. Oh my lord, dude! I've never seen Melissa move so fast in my entire life. She's like, I'm not playing anymore. I'm like, we're gonna have to put you down for a DNF.
That's too funny.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, this thing was...
Those things got big.
I've never seen, in like the wild, I've never seen a snake that big. It was huge. And it was
have some, like over near the river over here, and I was like fishing one time, and I think that was when we first moved here, and like I looked over on the rock, and it was like, it had to be at least 6 feet long. Yeah. It was in the sun, and I was like, it was coiled up, and I'm like, wow, that's a large animal. Yeah, this large snake.
This dude was slithering. He slid... So he was looking like right at us from the woods, and then like he turned and went into the woods and started slithering into the woods, and then turned back around and came back out, and like his tail was where his head was, and I'm like, this thing is a behemoth.
You're like, that's not right.
Yeah, I had my golf club. I'm like, if he comes at me, I'm smashing this guy. But yeah, no, he left us alone.
He's probably eyeing Sawyer.
Yeah, he probably was.
He's like, I could take it.
He probably could have, dude. He probably could have. It would have been a bad day for her.
You guys just drop her and run away.
Sorry, Sawyer. We'll try again with the next one.
Got to take one for the team, buddy.
But yeah, so that was kind of what we were up to. It was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Bucket Golf Invitational. I think that'll be a good time. Get Tony and Paul involved. Maybe a couple other people.
Yeah, that'd be good, dude. I'm getting a shed soon too, so I already told Melissa I'm gonna put a sign on the shed that says the clubhouse.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, but you ready? Cool. You want to get into the music moment?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so with the theme of episodes to come, and with just the general theme of this episode, I figured I'd pick some California bands. So the first one is actually an album. It's going to be Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Came out in 1999, the 7th studio album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And yeah, it's got, I think most people know these songs, but 3 of the main singles off it are Scar Tissue, Other Side, and of course, Californication.
Is that their best album? Can we agree that might be their best album?
Probably. I'm gonna be fully upfront. I haven't listened to every single one of their albums. Right. I've listened to like Stadium Arcadium and a couple of the others all the way through.
Fair enough.
At least not recently. I did revisit Californication while we were there.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
I just played it the entire time. No, I did end up playing it in the car at one point while we were there. Like this seems appropriate.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's really it. I mean, check it out. It's been out for a while. No spoilers. I think it's a pretty solid album front to back. Those singles are probably some of the better songs on it, including the title track. But just good stuff if you've been living under a rock, or perhaps if you're a younger millennial, because we're millennials. But if you're a younger person listening to this podcast in your teens, whatever, I think you'd probably enjoy it. Just give it a listen. Take a trip back to the 90s.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You really can't.
No, you can't. No, they're one of my bands that's on a bucket list to see live. I wish I've had opportunities to see them and they played around here before, but I've looked at tickets a few times and been like, that's a little expensive. Do I want to sit in Comcast, Xfinity, whatever it's called, Great Woods now for like 5 hours after I see them? I don't know.
Yeah. Not quite worth it yet. Maybe like we were talking about with the Rolling Stones, maybe when they're 80. We can go.
Yeah, we'll see them when they're on tour in Vegas.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Get a shot. They are from California, right? I think I'm just being paranoid.
I mean, I hope so.
They must be. I'm gonna double check that.
I mean,
right now.
listen.
Let's do a hot look up.
You don't gotta look it up, dude. I'm
gonna look it up.
The name of the album is Californication. Is that not good enough?
I guess that's true. Yeah, they're from LA. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
To your point, it is called Californication, which is good enough. But I don't want to be steering our people wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be talking I mean, sometimes we do just make stuff up. I'm gonna be completely honest.
You are a perfectionist. So we gotta.
I don't know about a perfectionist. No. I just try to get my information correct. We don't make stuff up that often, people.
You just exude excellence. That's what happens.
Exude excellence. I like that. Yeah. So check it out. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. And yeah, you want to get into the main topic?
I got a jazzy music moment.
Oh, sorry. Here I am. I'm too excited.
I know.
Do you have? Excuse me. Do you have any Josh's jazzy music moments?
Tuck it in your waistband. Relax.
Whoa.
Give me a minute.
Whoa. Well, excuse me.
And okay. Yeah, and second of all, if you're gonna pick a California band, why not the Beach Boys? Are you not a Beach Boys guy?
How do you know I'm not gonna pick it for the next?
Okay. I hope you
series
do.
Pick.
I hope you do. I'm a big Beach Boys guy. But
all right, I'll think about it.
No,
I'll put in a good word.
Yeah, you better. Are those guys even around? There's no chance. I
think a couple of them are.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so for Josh's jazzy music moment.
Jazzy.
So Taylor Swift released a new album.
Oh, man. So much controversy.
Yeah, people were going crazy. And people were going crazy that she did a song with Post Malone. And I just wanted to say that Post Malone's awesome. Like, he is probably one of my favorite, like, rappers now. Post Malone has done tremendous stuff. And they were going wild because he's obviously so popular with the rap world, and it's a nice crossover between him and Taylor. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to any Taylor Swift, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But, yeah, I don't know if you listen to any Post Malone, Nick, but, yeah, he
not particularly. I know that he's pretty renowned at this point.
Yeah,
in the rap world.
But he has a bunch of good songs, and he released his newest album back in like June or July of last year, and I think it's called Austin, and it's it's actually way different. There's way more like acoustic guitar, and it's almost it's not. I'm not gonna say it's a country album, but it's kind of leaning towards that, I guess, with way more acoustic guitar, way more like definitely slower, a lot more. I think he can sing pretty good, so he has a lot more singing on there. Like, just check it out, Nick. Give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. Check out the song Green Thumb.
Green Thumb.
Yeah.
And it's Austin, like the city Austin in Texas.
Yep.
Cool. So that makes sense, the country sort of lean there.
Yeah. I think so.
I guess Southern country.
I could just be making that up, but maybe that's just my own. Maybe that's just me thinking, oh, Austin's in Texas. That's Southern. That's country music.
It actually sounded listening. I'm like, this sounds nothing like country. It's just got acoustic guitar on it.
Yeah, it doesn't. To be honest with you, I don't think it does sound country.
Yeah, the more I think about it, it sounds nothing like country.
I think I made that all up. All right.
Well, now I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
Check it out. Let's get into it. Let's get into the main topic.
All right, let's do it. So, yeah, I've been traveling. I mean, I talked about it last episode, but me and Ash had a delayed 5th anniversary trip, and we pretty much did about 4 days in San Diego and like 4 days in Joshua Tree. And we figured what we'd do, because I have a lot to talk about, #content, is that we'd break this up into a couple different episodes.
Yeah.
And I figured probably the most logical way is that I'm going to talk about, tonight we'll do sort of the San Diego trip, and I really went through and bulleted all the restaurants and places we went and stuff. So if you are thinking about visiting San Diego or you happen to be out there, give you some stuff to look at. I had been there for work back in 2019 for a conference and really wanted to go back. So that's kind of the genesis of why I wanted to go back and take Ash there. I thought the weather was cool. The food was really good. It was beautiful. So I figured we'd go back, and then Joshua Tree was just sort of the nearest national park, or I should say big national park that you could do like hiking and stuff that was close by. So that's kind of how we decided on that trip and kind of how we ended up back in San Diego.
So I think I heard somebody say this once. Is it true that like the weather is like always the same in San Diego? Like it's like consistently like mid 60s, 70s, like every single day?
Yeah, I mean, at least from when I looked at it, I think it might get a little warmer, but a lot of the deal is there's like sort of hot air coming off the desert.
Yeah.
Because of where it is. And I mean, for anybody that doesn't know where San Diego is in the US, it's basically in the very, very southwestern corner, and it's adjacent to like the Mexican border. I don't think there's any city. There might be some little cities in between and stuff, but it's like a stone's throw from Tijuana, Mexico.
Yeah.
Right across the border. So you're like really far down south. But yeah, for the most part, the weather is pretty much like dry because of the desert air and stuff kind of coming off that hotter part of the United States. And then you're along the colder part of the Pacific Ocean. Like I don't think the water really gets super warm. Like it doesn't get into like the 70s or 80s like Florida does.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I think it's in the 50s and 60s, maybe low 70s. I'm spitballing at that one. I actually don't know that for a fact. But the weather for itself is very consistent, like 70s in the day, like 50s, 60s at night. When we were there, it was pretty much in the 60s, almost 70 each day, and pretty much in the mid to high 50s at night. Yeah. And a lot of times in the morning, they get like the locals call it the marine layer. But it's just like fog that comes in and clouds from the ocean. So a lot of times the marine layer's there during the morning, and then like by the afternoon, like 10, 11 o'clock, it burns off is like a pretty typical thing. And it just is like sun, blue skies, some clouds usually.
So is that like clouds, like, is it like a fog or is it just like cloudy skies?
Like cloudy skies.
Yeah,
I should say it's so dry that it doesn't really get like foggy. I think like the humidity, like there's no humidity out there. It's kind of crazy. Like we came back and especially when you go to the desert, there's no humidity. And yeah, just to circle back a bit, so we're planning on doing 3 breakups from the trip, and that's going to be San Diego tonight. Then the second installment, I'll run through Joshua Tree National Park and what we did, and try to give you as a listener some insight as to where we stayed, where we ate, some of the hikes we did. And then the third episode, I'm going to break out that really happened in between, but me and Ash ended up going and taking the Palm Springs aerial tramway up to San Jacinto. And it's funny, San Jacinto, I went back and forth with the pronunciation, but it seems like locally, and from what I gathered while we were out there, most people call it San Jacinto, even though it's Jacinto or Jacinto, which is hyacinth in Spanish. So it's actually like St. Hyacinth.
What'd the Californians say, man? Yeah. What did they say?
Yes. San Jacinto is what I was told. So don't come at me if I pronounce it wrong, or come at us on social media. We love to interact with people.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call it San Jacinto for the duration of the podcast after doing some research. But we hiked San Jacinto from the aerial tramway, so we were stoked to get up to almost an 11,000 foot mountain. It was pretty crazy. And it was just kind of a little bucket list item for us to go hiking and do a quote unquote bigger mountain out west. So that'll have its own episode as well. So we'll get back into San Diego. So yeah, the weather, like you mentioned, that's a big reason why I think people move there and like it. And even like we were there like 24 hours. Ash had never been to California before even, and was like, yeah, this is nice. I can see why people move here.
Yeah, I have family out there. I have actually like both sides of my family, like my mother's side and my father's side, like relatives that live in San Diego.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'd been to San Francisco before, which was definitely quite a bit colder. Like it's further up the coast. It reminded me of Boston a little bit more. Whereas San Diego actually is like one of the biggest cities in the U.S. We were actually looking while we were out there. I don't know if it's like seventh biggest or something like that. And it's very new, like new skyscrapers going up and
that's crazy.
New restaurants. Like nothing feels old, I feel like, on the West Coast compared to like here. Like everything. It's kind of like when you go to Florida. There's like not anything super old.
Yeah. It's probably has something to do with like obviously when it was settled, but like maybe it has something to do with the climate there. It helps everything kind of stay. They don't get snow. They don't get like they're not getting salted roads and all that crap. Like they just get nice sun, maybe some rain.
For sure. I was continually impressed, especially when we're in the desert. Like occasionally you just see like 80s like Mercedes Benzes and stuff that look like they're like brand new, but it's because they don't have like at least if you're living around there's no salt or sand, there's no cold really water or anything like that. So a lot of cars and things like that last pretty well out there.
That's awesome.
We kicked things. Oh,
I just wanted to ask a quick question. Sorry, before you get into it.
Sure, go for it.
Did you guys stay in the same place the entire time that you were there, like the same hotel the entire time you were there?
In San Diego, yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we stayed in the same hotel the whole time.
Oh, okay. So you went from there, like day trips to like the San Jacinto and all that stuff?
No, we didn't do it. So we stayed in the same place in San Diego, and then we stayed in a Verbo in Joshua Tree. So we stayed in a house.
Okay.
And San Jacinto in Palm Springs is like a 50 minute ride, 50 minute ride, 50 cent, 50 minute ride on the highway and stuff to get to the tramway in Palm Springs. So like that was maybe 50 minutes away. And we were like, from where our house was there. So there's actually a Joshua Tree village outside of Joshua Tree National Park. It's on like the northern side, but we pretty much were in a house that was like 10 minutes from the northern entrance.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to know that because I wasn't sure if you stayed in the same spot. That's cool though.
Yeah, and they're probably about 3 hours. It's like without traffic, it's like a 3-ish hour drive from San Diego to Joshua Tree Village.
Okay.
Without traffic. Yeah. So we kicked off things on our trip on April 19th, the Friday, and we left from Logan International Airport in Boston. Had a little hiccup in the morning, so Ash made an appointment for an Uber to pick us up at 4:30 a.m. just to make sure that we weren't late for our flight, which was like 7:15 or 7:20, somewhere around there. And we woke up, we got everything packed, and like we're sitting waiting, and it's probably like 4:35, and I'm like, they're not here yet. And we checked Ash's email reservation she had and clicked into the link, which took you into the app, and it basically said no drivers available. So we're like, okay. We're like, shit, what do we do now? So I was looking around. You couldn't get anybody on Uber at all. I looked on Lyft, and the nearest one was going to be like 20 minutes. And not wanting to miss our flight for like this weekish long trip, we decided to just drive there, which in retrospect was a really poor decision. I'll go into that later. We didn't really have a choice because of the Boston parking garage and prices. To get a little into it, I guess that is everything. It's not really that too complex, but we opted to take our own car there. We left it at Logan last minute. We didn't have a chance to there's a lot of park and ride places and stuff. We could have left it, but we're kind of screwed, and we didn't want to miss our flight and start a vacation that way. It probably would have been pretty crappy to do that.
What an absolute travesty. What an absolute travesty it is to like the amount that you have to pay to park at the airport. It's like absolute highway robbery, dude. They get you up. They get you on the way in and on the way out. They really give it to you. They really give it to you good.
They do. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But anyways, we ended up getting there. Got to our flight. Everything else was super smooth. We checked in. It's like it was a little bit of over a 6-hour direct flight. We opted to go direct on the way out. Because we could. Number one, they had flights doing it at that time, and just because we figured we'd start a vacation without like a layover or anything, and make sure like we'd get to San Diego at a decent time and almost get a full day there. So we got there 10:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Nice.
In San Diego International Airport. Just immediately out, it's like 70 degrees, palm trees. It was pretty nice.
So what is it like so if you left at 7, you got there at 10. Then it would have been like what, 2 o'clock here. So was it like a 3-hour flight, 4-hour flight?
6
hours.
Flight.
Oh yeah. Gotta do the
figure
math.
in the air
Bad
for
math.
6 hours and then -3. So
yeah.
or that doesn't actually always work depending where you're traveling. But it was a little over 6-hour flight to get there and land. And we got there like maybe 10:30ish, a little bit before that local time in San Diego.
Nice.
So immediately you're kind of back, but it's already been sort of a long day at that point, but not awful. Like 3 hours back is not like ridiculous. I think it's worse if you're flying forward to Europe or something like that, to be honest, but I haven't gone all around the world. Yeah, so we got there. We kind of Ubered around or lifted around the whole time. We took turns pretty much using the apps and calling cars, and we found it to be pretty affordable and not bad, and there was always someone nearby because it's in the city. I'm sure like there's people just everywhere.
Of course.
And the first stop was to go to the Intercontinental Hotel in San Diego, which is where we stayed. It's not like the most expensive hotel you can stay, but it's definitely not the cheapest. We kind of wanted to stay somewhere like close to the water and where we had kind of a water view, and it also had a restaurant in it and like a pool and a bunch of different stuff, which I'm kind of happy to say we did take advantage of like what was there for the most part.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did they have like those little scooters on the streets that you could just ride around?
No, they didn't. It's funny because I remember seeing those back in 2019, like electric scooters and stuff, but I don't know if that scooter program just went downhill because people were stealing them or like what happened, but I did not see any scooters. They very well might be there, but the entire time we were walking around there for like 4 days, I didn't see any electric scooters.
Damn.
Yeah, so we checked into that Intercontinental Hotel, and that's like right in, they call it like the Embarcadero, aka like pier kind of area of San Diego, and it's like in between the Embarcadero area and like the downtown area. And immediately we're like, okay, we're like hungry, like let's get some food and perhaps a beverage or two. So I was looking around, and we were right near the Seaport Village, which is sort of, it's almost like if you've ever been to Mystic Village with like the shops and like restaurants and stuff in Mystic, Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's like that vibe, except way better because you're on the water in San Diego, and there's like beautiful succulents and roses. And
shout out to Mr. Connecticut, you suck. Sorry
Mike
for those in Connecticut.
We like you, Mike Trokey. But Mystic Village has nothing on the Seaport Villages in San Diego.
Yeah.
So we checked that out. There's a bunch of restaurants and stuff in there. It's pretty just along sort of the water. And we kind of took around. There's some like little pier parks and stuff. And we checked out Mike Hess Brewing Co. And that's right in the Seaport Village, like kind of on the water. Got some beers, got some tacos. And let me tell you, man, the Mexican food in San Diego, if you think you know a taco as being like just Ortega mix or like any of those, real Mexican tacos do not taste like that. And I mean, obviously, like over here, like Florida has good Mexican food and stuff, and Spanish food and that whole ethnicity kind of genre. But man, are their tacos good down in San Diego? And it's not like, I feel like a lot of it's just really fresh ingredients, not a lot of spices. Got some just awesome tacos.
I'm so glad to hear that you went to California and got tacos. Because that's like,
how can you? They have tacos everywhere.
You
in
have
California.
You just have to do it.
You can't not get tacos.
You just have to do it. What kind of taco? Just a regular taco?
I think I had all sorts of tacos while we were there, so I won't go into every specific taco, but I had everything from fish tacos to like steak tacos to chicken tacos to shrimp tacos.
Which one was your favorite? What was your favorite?
My favorite was probably at Mike's Tacos, which I'll talk about later, but they just had really good shrimp taco. I got like a shrimp taco and a chicken taco, and it was delicious. And I feel like most of them too, it's just like shredded cabbage, sour cream, guac, salsa, meat, red onions, just like super good. A little bit of herbs, but nothing too crazy. Not like we're not talking like orange meat with like seasoning on it or whatever, which is kind of like what we make at home, I feel like.
I had a taco bowl tonight, and that meat was so orange.
Yeah, I think it's just the cumin. Like I feel like it's just not. It's funny. Yeah. It's a little bit different, but yeah, amazing Mexican food everywhere and tacos anywhere in San Diego. I don't think you can really do wrong. And they're also on every menu of anywhere you go, literally, no matter what kind of restaurant. Like if you go to an Italian restaurant, they're gonna have tacos still.
They know what the people want. They know what they want.
Yeah. So Mike Hess Brewing Co. was awesome. And we kind of just walked around the piers after that, and like there's some really like huge ships and stuff docked over there, and kind of all along that shoreline and pier area. There's just a bunch to do, a bunch to kind of see. It's a really pretty area just to walk around and look at the city. And you can look across seeing Coronado Island. There's also, because there's a Navy base on Coronado Island, there's just Navy ships like driving by like pretty much all day. You also see like military aircraft flying in and out stuff. Saw some like Jayhawks and some newer military helicopters and jets and stuff like that. So that was really cool.
Sick.
Yeah, I was nerding out quite a bit.
I bet.
As Ash could tell you. I was nerding out. Yeah, so we chilled there through the afternoon, and at that point we kind of just wanted to go back to our hotel and chill for a little bit and kind of look at somewhere for dinner. And twist my arm, we decided we'd go to another brewery for dinner, which was Ballast Point Brewing Co. in the Little Italy neighborhood of San Diego, which we found ourselves in quite a bit. The Little Italy area is where a lot of the nicest restaurants and stuff are, and just bars, breweries, places, eateries, I don't know, whatever term you want to call it, but they get a lot of stuff in that Little Italy area. That's kind of north where we were, but it was definitely walkable to a lot of it. It's probably like a mile or so away from where our hotel was. And we ended up just pretty much taking an Uber to Ballast Point Brewing Co. and actually walked back after dinner. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
And we kind of were just looking at the map and stuff, and we walked back along the waterfront at night. So that pretty much concluded our first night. We were pretty bushed out there.
That's a busy first day, dude. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's way more than I would have done.
Dude, we did a lot of, I have to say we did a lot of stuff. Like, I'm looking back, but we really did like chill quite a bit.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Josh is like, no, you didn't. You're lying.
No. Yeah, I know you're lying. I know what your level of chill is. We have two very different chill levels.
Yeah, so that was our first night. We had a lot of fun, and needless to say, we both like passed out and slept super hard. I think every night we were there, but especially Friday night when we flew in. So April 20th, we woke up, had breakfast at the restaurant downstairs in the Intercontinental Hotel, which is also, you can go there from the public. And I think they have 3 restaurants maybe inside, 3 or 4. And the restaurant's called Vistal, and we just got some breakfast. And what the deal was, if you stay there, they it's kind of like, it's almost like having the food minimum at the country club, but they give you like, I think it was $60 a day or $50 a day towards stuff like on their property, towards the bars, restaurants, and anything that you can pay for. Yeah. So it's kind of our advantage to like try to use that each day. So we pretty much got breakfast there, and that mostly covered breakfast.
I'm sure $60 doesn't go as far as it used to.
I think it was maybe it wasn't, maybe it was like 40 or 50. But the breakfast was like really good. I'm trying to think. It was some sort of. Did you get
huevos rancheros?
No, I didn't get that. I did get a breakfast burrito one day. I think that particular day, I got some sort of, I can't think of it, some sort of Mexican dish, but it's basically like tortillas with like poached eggs on them, jalapenos, and like chorizo. It was very good.
That sounds good.
Started the day right.
Yeah, that's chorizo's a good way to start the day.
There's also a Starbucks downstairs, which we went to every day, and I just got like plain iced coffee. Ash was getting like crazy stuff. Yeah. Because it was vacation. She's like, double mocha latte, frappuccino thingy, whatever you want to call it. Venti. So that was convenient. There was a Starbucks downstairs. But yeah, Vistal was really good. If you're in that area and you just want to check it out, like the restaurant level like overlooks kind of the bay and stuff. So that was really pretty. And ahead of time, in kind of our main thing to do that day, I had bought tickets to the San Diego Zoo. And we took a Lyft and Uber there, and the zoo's in Balboa Park, which is another just big park in San Diego with a bunch to do in itself. It's got like museums and gardens and all sorts of stuff to see, and actually a golf course in it too.
In the park?
Cool. It's a huge park. Yeah, it's
par 3 golf course. Or are we talking about?
I think it was a full 18-hole golf course. I didn't look into it, but yeah, they had a public golf course in there. But beautiful area, and let me tell you, the San Diego Zoo was ridiculous. The only other really big zoo I've been to is like the Bronx Zoo in New York. That's actually like a big zoo that you could spend like multiple days there. The San Diego Zoo was it was huge. It's enormous.
Yeah. Was it better than the Bronx Zoo?
I saw that when I was a kid, so I can't really directly compare. Okay. I was probably like 9 or 10, so I don't remember that well. The thing I remember the most about the Bronx Zoo is they had gorillas. And like, the San Diego Zoo has gorillas, bonobos. They don't have chimps. They had baboons. They had like all sorts of primates. They had they have like 700, 800 species of animals.
That's
Granted,
so wild.
A couple hundred of those are probably birds, but almost any big cool animal you could think of, they had at the zoo. And everything was super well marked. It was super clean. The tickets, we're not, I wouldn't say they're cheap. Well, I mean, if you think compared to like Roger Williams or Buttonwood or somewhere around here, but for what you get, like the food and stuff, they also sell like draft beer in the park, which I thought was just weird because I'm like, nowhere around here does that. Like you could get margaritas and then go see like pandas. Like, come on.
What are the parents supposed to do? It's a big day. It's a long day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But it was just kind of strange. It was weird.
That's because the kid inside, he was like, don't drink that poison juice.
No, we got a beer after we saw some stuff. But yeah, nice. Dude, like everything from leopards to like jaguars and like it reminded me almost like Animal Kingdom at Disney because it's like, oh, you're like, there's a couple giraffes. Like they have like 10 giraffes. Like you're just like, oh, this is crazy.
That's a lot.
Like just everything. The same thing with like elephants. They had, I think, like 4 or 5 elephants.
Yeah, that's a lot. I had
my camera out. Yeah, dude. It was super cool.
How many giraffes is like too many giraffes?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, if you have like 20, that's probably too many. At least to have like in captivity. Yeah, but again, all their exhibits were like massive. Like it looked like the animals had such nice spaces to stay in.
Was there any rhinoceri?
Like, they did have a rhinoceros, which I haven't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, dude. They had a rhinoceros. They had two rhinoceroses. Yeah, they had like that was actually one of the last things we saw because we were trying to see what we hadn't seen yet, and because we were looking for giraffes to take like giraffe pictures to send to Ryland, and that was one of the last things we saw was like the rhinos. And it's crazy how like their skin looks like plating almost, but it's just like thick like leather hide.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think, like at least some of my favorite animals, I think they had polar bears, which just took me back to being a kid when Roger Williams was cooler and had polar bears. Yeah. That was pretty awesome. The gorillas were pretty incredible. Like they had a group of like male gorillas there that were chilling. Like one came like right up to the glass and like looking at you, and it's like that eerie, like you can tell they're very conscious animals.
Oh yeah.
The bonobos were cool, but they were sleeping. I got a ton of I had my camera with me, of course, and I had a newer lens to be able to zoom in on everything. I had like a moment with like, I think it was a jaguar or leopard, and like, it was like looking at me and like got a ton of sick pictures of it. It was just like a beautiful animal. Like, dude, yeah, I have a picture of it looking like directly down the barrel of my camera.
You connected with that jaguar.
Yeah, it was cool. I think that was some of the highlights. I'm probably forgetting some of the stuff. They had a massive house of snakes and like vipers and all this stuff, like snakes I've never seen. Apparently they have like one of the largest venomous snake collections like anywhere in the world.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool. Ash didn't like that too much because she doesn't like snakes. Tortoises. Yeah, it was wild. I highly recommend checking that out if you're in San Diego. It's like almost a sin to go there and not go to the San Diego Zoo. There's a reason a lot of people like hype it up, and I was blown away. And again, just super nice facilities. Everybody that worked there was like unbelievably nice. I think people on the West Coast are just nicer than people on the East Coast. Yeah. I think that was just a generalization.
Yeah. What kind of douchebags over here on the East Coast?
We just like always think someone's trying to screw us over or something. Like, he's just like, bro, what's up? Sure. Granted, they're not dealing with like rain for 2 weeks straight and it being like 40 degrees. So there's that.
Blame it on the weather.
But yeah, now that I've gushed over the San Diego Zoo, that was just a great time. We had a blast. And afterwards, we wanted to check out some of Balboa Park. And I was kind of looking through the little park map they had, and they had a couple different gardens, which they're sort of known for. I don't know if there's like 6 or 7, but there's just some of the ones that were really close to the zoo if you're around there and you're like walking out of the zoo. We went to the desert garden, which was just like cactus and desert plants as one might expect, kind of overlooking the valley. They had a rose garden that was just crazy with perpetual roses. And apparently it's like against the law to cut the roses. I don't know if they do that because there would just be no roses there if everybody probably cut them and took them home.
Because once somebody cuts one, they're just going to go there every day and just keep taking roses.
But incredible rose garden. It was some memorial to somebody. And just like yellow, white, pink, like any color rose you could imagine. I don't know if the deal is too with the weather there, if they just bloom year round, probably, which I'm like really jealous of. I feel like we saw roses like everywhere. Yeah. And that was really cool. And then the last one was the Zorro Garden, which... Again, you can look up online if you want to see why these gardens are named the same way. I'm not going to try to get that into it. But the Zorro Garden, all I will say is I got a picture of me and Ash, and it looked like the tree from like Jurassic Park that they're like Grant sleeping under with the kids when they're like at night. You know that like massive tree with the roots that are huge and stuff. Big? Yeah, it was like that. Like I have some
man.
pictures of it. It was enormous. Like I was just like, this is the Jurassic Park tree. Oh man.
This is where Newman died.
Yeah. This is where Newman died, right down the hill. Yeah, so that was cool. That was in the Zorro garden with those trees, but all three of those gardens were really pretty. We walked by some like fountains and stuff. And after that, we were kind of getting hungry again. So we got in Uber and got this very California guy that was just super cool, like chatting us up and asking us where we were going and whatnot, and recommending some places to check out. And he actually recommended to check out Bolt Brewery, which again was in Little Italy, in the Little Italy area of San Diego, and had some good beers there. And there also was a sushi place like adjacent to that we kind of wanted to check out. We didn't realize it was right there until we were literally sitting having a beer and like looking outside, and we're like, oh, that's what was it called? Oh, Cloak and Pedal. I'm looking through my notes over here that I got on my paper. But Cloak and Pedal is adjacent to Bolt Brewery if you happen to be in that area. And went to Bolt, chilled out a bit, had some lunch, again, had tacos. Actually, I think we had tacos and a chicken quesadilla. Just to mix it up a little bit. Just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and their beer was super good. I don't think any of the breweries that I mentioned that we went to all had really good beer, really good IPAs, good variety. A lot of them are carrying hard seltzers now, which seems to be a thing around here too.
Did you have a favorite? Really
want to drink beer?
Did you have a favorite brewery?
That's tough. I don't know if I could pick one.
Can I just say, Cloak and Pedal is probably the sickest name for a sushi restaurant I've ever heard.
Oh, it was a cool place inside too. I'll get into it later when we want, but it was really neat. And yeah, the name I thought was it's very like hipsterish, but very cool.
Yeah, that's a sick.
It's like name. Where are you going tonight? The Cloak and Pedal.
The Cloak and Pedal.
Yeah. So after Bolt, we were looking for places to eat for dinner. Went back to our hotel. Did the sort of chill thing, and we ended up deciding on the Edgewater Grill in the Seaport Village where I'd been before. This place is the only place I was like not super impressed with. The food was good, but it took us like hours to get our food. Like, and there was nobody in there. I don't know if there was like just one owner chef working. It was kind of weird. I enjoyed the atmosphere and we were sitting outside, which was pretty, but like, I think it took from like at least an hour and 15 minutes from when we got our appetizers to get like our dinner. And like, again, I got fish tacos. So like that doesn't take that long to make fish tacos.
No.
That place would be the only one I wouldn't recommend if you're in San Diego, to be flat out honest. I had gone there back in 2019 and the food was really good, but obviously that was 5 years ago now, almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if they just went through some staffing shortages, and I'm definitely very sympathetic of since COVID. I know it's tough with places, but like when you got something that takes like 10 minutes to like make, and I think they were just sitting and waiting for us to drink more, and we were just kind of like, I'm just gonna get a soda and water now, and can we just have our dinner, like kind of deal. Like I'm not sure exactly what's happening. We ended up talking to I think the owner of the chef afterwards, and he was a nice guy, but it didn't really make up for the fact that like we were there for like a while and we were like really hungry at that point. So I wouldn't. Did
you tell him you were disappointed in the wait time?
Not directly. I'm sure they got that vibe with my tip where I gave them not probably as good of a tip as I would. I mean, usually a pretty good tipper if I enjoy my meal and they have good service and stuff, but I wasn't super impressed. They got pretty much the minimum. So that's probably the only place I wouldn't shout out to go to really on this list of San Diego eateries. Yeah, and so me and Ash had a running joke in the hotel, and like it's funny because it wasn't that big of a deal really, but we kept seeing, like, we're there for like roughly 2 days now, and we keep seeing these people like super dressed up going up to the 19th floor. Like what's the deal with the 19th floor of our hotel? Like we're like, what the hell is going on? Like, and like we keep making jokes that it's like it must be like Eyes Wide Shut upstairs, or there's some like freaky crap going on upstairs, like people with masks on and stuff. And finally, like, Ash ends up looking it up, and it turns out that there's just, like, a really nice bar restaurant on top called Seneca that's on the 19th floor. It was a little weird to get to, though. There's only, like, 2 elevators in the hotel. There's one from, like, the level on the street that goes there, and then one elevator in the hotel actually goes up there, or one shaft, I should say, up to the 19th floor. And when you get out of the elevator, it was just, like, literally a dark room with, like, red lights and, like, some plants and stuff. And then you open it up, and it's, like, a full-out, like, trattoria restaurant, like not rooftop bar, but like on the side of the building basically.
That's cool.
Yeah, Ash wanted to go get a couple nightcaps, so we ended up there. And it was funny because I kind of I just pretty much drink beer nowadays. And the woman looked at me so disgusted when they had the crazy cocktails and all the stuff on the menu and wine and whatnot. And I'm like, do you guys have any beer? And she's like, yeah, we have one. It's an Italian Pilsner. And I was like, I'll have that. Like, she a little aggressive and like just looking at me like, why? Like, she was like looking at me like, you idiot. Why did you come to a cocktail bar up here with food and stuff if you just want to order an Italian beer? And I was like, dude, I'm still paying you money for a beer. Like, it was really nice. Like, the tables overlooked the city and stuff, and we could kind of see it from the bar, but it was just kind of funny. She was definitely like, why are you here? And I'm like, I just want a beer tonight. I'm not going crazy.
They only had one beer.
Yeah, they only had one beer.
That's
again,
so crazy.
I think they kind of marketed themselves as a cocktail bar and wine bar, and they had a lot. Yeah, they had a lot of like crazy whiskeys and stuff. So
was it like a cigar lounge too?
No, I didn't get the cigar lounge vibe, but it was more like brick oven pizza Italian. Like the menu wasn't that huge. It was definitely more like go up there for drinks and such.
Yeah.
But that place was cool. That was Seneca Restaurant in the Intercontinental Hotel. If you're feeling like a nightcap and want a nice view of the city, I recommend it. Don't order the Italian Pilsner or you'll be ridiculed.
you will get judged.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was nice. And also it was funny too, because it was 420 and anybody that's in the know didn't really smell that much marijuana around San Diego. I gotta be honest,
like,
considering it was 420.
They can do that whenever they want. Yeah, like they can do it whenever they want. They don't care.
Yeah, not too big of a deal. But it kind of hit me when we were at the zoo. I'm like, it's 420, because we saw people like smoking in Balboa Park when we got out, and like, there's probably weren't aware it was 420. They just were doing their thing.
Yeah, they don't care.
But yeah. And that leads us into Sunday, 421, and we woke up again, super hungry because we were walking around. We were eating and like drinking beer and stuff, but like we were walking around a lot while we were there, which is kind of cool. And we went to this was actually a chain, but it was Brugger's Bagels, and it was like right in downtown near us, and they were really good. I got a jalapeno cheddar cheese bagel, which was like amazing.
Did you throw a cream cheese on there too?
Oh yeah, cream cheese. Their breakfast sandwich was cream cheese, and then it was like sausage and like eggs. It was so good. It was an amazing breakfast sandwich. Good way to start the day. And then we hit the USS Midway Museum, which the USS Midway is a aircraft carrier that was in the Navy. But it sounds redundant. It was in the U.S. Navy, and it's actually the longest serving U.S. aircraft carrier. It was commissioned in 1945 and got out of commissioned or decommissioned in 1999. So it served through quite a few battles and missed World War II. It was named after the Battle of Midway in World War II. And it's basically a giant naval museum. Like, I mean, they have the aircraft carrier open. They show like everything about the aircraft carrier and the crew. And they get into like what probably my favorite part was talking to some of the guys that were volunteers on some of the exhibits and like talking about the catapults and then the catch systems on the aircraft carrier that launch jets and stuff themselves. That was just like wild.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And they had a bunch of basically an aircraft museum within it and on deck, which was cool. So you can go check out like everything from like, I think they had like F-16s to like 70s fighters and P-51s back to World War II and bombers and all these different things. And they had people that were super knowledgeable and everything. If you had questions, they had an audio tour, which we didn't do.
You didn't do the audio tour?
No, we didn't do it because we wanted to go to Coronado Island later. So I definitely could spend all day there, probably like 7-8 hours. They had a restaurant on there and all that kind of good stuff. I
saw a lot of your pictures. Was that the giant statue of like the sailor kissing the girl? Is that at that museum?
Oh yeah, that's on the pier. That's like across from it. But nice. That's like that famous scene from I think when World War II ended of the picture of like that couple or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
They have a giant statue over there, and there's also a maritime museum right over there that we didn't do with a bunch of different ships. Didn't check that out. Yeah. So much to do. We had to narrow it down. But yeah, the Midway was super cool. I mean, I think if you have young kids too, as long as they're like not gonna hit their heads on like steel things, like Jeremiah, I feel like would be a good age for that place because it's almost like an aircraft carrier is practically like a jungle gym playground in itself. Yeah. Like you're going up and down stairs and ladders and like in and out of hatches and all stuff like that. It was pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and from the aircraft carrier itself, it just had a great view of like Coronado Bay and that whole area. That was super cool. And after I was done nerding out and Ash dragged me out of there, I guess we did have to continue with the rest of the day, because I was talking to the guy about the catapult systems on the aircraft carrier. And one like quick fact I'm just going to go into. So in the Air Force, when you land on an aircraft carrier, you practice, I guess, approximately 144 times landing basically in a square on like a field or whatever on actual tarmac. And then eventually when you land for the first time, and the first time you actually ever use the catapult system to take off of an aircraft carrier deck is actually the first time you land on it. So you don't practice the catapult portion of that ever in your career. The guy was like, he was a pilot in the 70s. Like, yeah, like you just kind of like, they're like, well, if you want to get back off again, you kind of got to just catapult off. So you immediately land and then do probably the scariest thing you've ever done in your life, landing on an aircraft carrier in the ocean, where if you miss you're going to go into the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
And then immediately they launch you back off again to take off again. And where you're hoping you don't launch into the ocean again. So I just thought that was wild.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, now that the jets take care of that, they have computers that do it. But back then we just had to go full throttle, and you just had to like hang on to the stick as hard as you could and make sure to keep the plane level. And I'm like, that sounds fantastic.
That's crazy.
And apparently you pull like, it's like something crazy, like 3.6 Gs and like 50 yards or something. Like it's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's like, wow. Or you go from 3.6 Gs and I think it was like 0 to 160 miles an hour in like half a football field or a football field. That's
so
insane.
Crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So that was my one tidbit that I wanted to mention from that, because I was just like, I'm blown away that people do that. Like that just is crazy.
That's a good tidbit.
I mean, clearly it's not crazy people do it, but man, you got some cojones if you're out there doing man or woman or whatever. You're built a little different if you're doing that. Yeah. That's very cool. So yeah, Midway Museum, super cool. We bought tickets online ahead of time, again, which I think they recommend. And then we planned on spending our afternoon on Coronado Island. So Coronado Island, for those of you who don't know, is an island right off the coast of San Diego. It's actually sort of, I forget the type of island. It is connected sort of by a sandbar to the mainland, but for the most part, it's an island. And you can take a ferry right across from a bunch of different areas. There was actually a ferry like a 5-minute walk from our hotel to take across, and it was, I don't know if it was like $10 or whatever round trip. It's pretty cheap. And we went to Coronado Brewery on Coronado Island, which is one of my favorite beer companies that we get around here. So I like really enjoy their IPA, and it's usually pretty affordable. So we checked that out for lunch, checked out their beer. It was really cool. Maybe like a mile. I'm trying to think. It was probably about a half a mile walk from the ferry. We walked all around Coronado. We didn't Uber or anything. And then we went to Coronado Beach, which is on the western side of Coronado Island and is like open Pacific Ocean, and got to dip our toes in the Pacific. It was quite nippy and quite foggy and cloudy, and actually kind of cool. It wasn't like hot, but that marine layering kind of clouds were hanging out. We actually kind of had quite a bit of cloudy days while we were there, which wasn't the end of the world, but everybody in San Diego that was like picking us up, the Uber and Lyft drivers, were like, yeah, man, the weather sucks, because it's like the weat's not really that bad compared to like when we're at home. At least it's like warm. But they're all like, yeah, we haven't had the San Diego sunshine or whatever. But yeah, Coronado Beach was super pretty. I had been there before back in 2019. Ash really enjoyed it, really loved it. Walked the beach and hung out quite a bit. And also noticed this point that you could see off sort of to the, I guess it'd be like the north side of Coronado Beach, kind of across the bay, which I'll get in for the next day. And at night, we ended up taking the ferry back, walked back from Coronado Beach, which is maybe like, I don't know, a couple mile walk. Took the ferry back across, and we went to Cloak and Pedal for dinner, that sushi place. And nice. you were saying, so like the name sounds super cool, which I agree with, but inside was super cool. So they have like those, they must be, is it the Japanese like cherry blossom trees? Yeah. Like that they're really known for, that you see? Yeah. But they had like basically, I'm assuming they were fake, but I meant more like if the bark was real or not. Like, I don't know if those were real trees, but they inside you walk in, and maybe I'll have to share a picture on the podcast page on the Insta or whatever, because I think Ash got a few pictures. But they had like cherry trees like inside the bar and stuff, like along that you could just sit like inside the restaurant. That's so cool. Which was cool. And then they had a bunch of like just like California related stuff. Like they had basically like some of the posters like Biggie UC and like Tupac, but like murals and like graffiti like on the walls and stuff. It was like a very cool place to hang out. That sounds so cool. Yeah, and they had really good. I'd say like the sushi was really good. The rest of the food was like okay. Like I think the sushi was definitely the notable thing to go there. I think we just got some like rice or whatever. It was more like you just order sort of small plates and share 'em, but food was really good. I think it was just a cool place to check out and hang out, even if you just want to go in and grab a beer or whatever or drink. Yeah, go have some sake, but just a really cool place. Again, in Little Italy, right next to Bold Brewery. So Little Italy apparently has like all the good restaurants, or a lot of them in San Diego. And again, we sort of just walked back along the waterfront every night because it was in the same area from Little Italy. So I think we did that like 2 or 3 of the nights we were out there.
Why not, dude? Why not?
Yeah. And that kind of brought us to our last full day there on 4/22, the Monday. So we did Vistal again for breakfast. Nothing really new there. Just ordered a different Mexican-themed breakfast. Got Starbucks again. And so back to that point that I'd seen from Coronado Beach. So me being, and Josh knows, like, I probably have a hiking addiction. So I'm like, I gotta hike. I gotta chase that high. So I'm looking around on all trails in the area and trying to see like what's kind of reasonable and what's sort of we didn't want to do anything crazy because we planned on absolutely hiking our butts off in Joshua Tree and later in the week. So we're like, oh, let's check out something kind of chill. And there's this U.S. national park called the Cabrillo National Monument that's on Point Loma, which is the point that we could see from Coronado Beach. Point Loma probably rises like 300 or 400 feet off the bay in the Pacific Ocean. It's in between, or I should say Point Loma is basically northwest of Coronado Island. You can kind of see it, and it's just across the bay and the channel from like the big Navy base that they have over there. And it was maybe like, I'd say a 45-minute to an hour ride from our hotel, probably like 45 minutes. It wasn't too bad. I don't think it was an hour. An hour is probably an exaggeration. But around there, they had a coastal trail and just some like a bay trail. They had some different trails you could check out. And the Cabrillo National Monument itself is named for Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo, who was, I think, either Spanish or Portuguese. I think there was sort of a debate actually on the exhibits of why they were saying he was either. He might have been like a Portuguese captain that worked for the Spanish Navy or something like that. But that was in 1542. He became the first European to actually step foot in California. So he was the first guy. So that's what the Cabrillo National Monument's there for. That's what it's named after. There's a statue of him there and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. And yeah, they had a bunch of trails. They had an old lighthouse you could check out there. They had an exhibit sort of on all like the Spanish expeditions and everything in that area. We kind of got dropped off at the top of the point, and then we ended up walking down the road to the coastal trail. And it was super pretty down there. It almost reminded me of Newport a little bit in the cliff walk, but they had like pelicans and different things. And it was maybe like a mile short little trail right along the water, along like cliffs and like water, like just waves crashing and everything. And you got pelicans flying overhead and seagulls and stuff.
That's pretty
sick. There were signs warning you not to get too close to marine life or like within 150 feet. And like one of the things was like sea lions, which we don't have sea lions. And they also have much bigger seals, I think, than we have on the East Coast.
Was there like legit sea lions hanging out?
No, unfortunately. I was poking around. I'm pretty sure I did get one further out or a couple further out with my camera later in the day. But didn't see any. We just saw a bunch of birds, basically. nothing super.
Pelican's pretty sick, though.
Crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen a pelican.
Yeah, and at one point, and I had a video I'm going to be working on later because I actually took video with my camera this day, and we saw this cliff edge, and me and Ash were kind of looking back, and we're like, what's all that, like, it looked like black dots, and as we got closer, like, there had to be, like, I don't know, like a couple hundred, if not 1,000, just pelicans and seagulls and stuff just chilling on the cliffside in the rocks. And actually we saw it. So one kind of cool encounter was we saw a seagull basically jump down into a tide pool and take out like a lobster and just start eating the lobster.
That's
and
sick.
I tried to get close to it to take a picture, and it just was like kept flying away. Like it was like, there's no way I'm going to let you take this lobster from me.
That lobster snagged up a funny lobster.
Yeah, it snagged up a lobster. Pacific lobsters don't have big claws, not like the New England ones. Actually, no other lobster in the world does. Fun fact.
That's why the lobsters suck.
They aren't lobsters. That was a lot of fun down there. We walked along that coastal trail and then walked back up. Probably like a 200-300 foot climb back to the top of the point. And we were kind of complaining. We're like, oh, there's no trail here. This is kind of weird, but it looks like they're renovating the trail and reopening it at some point in the spring of this year. So we actually saw some people like working on this trail that goes from like the visitor center to to the beginning of the coastal trail. So hopefully that'll be open soon and it'll be a little bit easier to access.
Sweet.
And yeah, by that point we were getting kind of hungry again, and Ash really wanted to check out Ocean Beach and Ocean Beach Pier, which is like a super surf vibe town in San Diego. It's sort of across like the northwestern, if you were looking like northwest from where we're staying, like downtown, I would say is probably a pretty good description of where it is. Like Ocean Beach is kind of north of Point Loma, and then there's sort of I don't know if there's a river or just like some sort of ocean break, bay, whatever, and then Mission Beach, which a lot of people have heard is like over there. But we took an Uber again to Ocean Beach and checked out sort of the pier over there, which evidently is closed because it looks like it's dilapidated and it's going to fall into the ocean. So you can't go on the Ocean Beach pier anymore, but apparently they're going to renovate it. But we chilled out along the water and walked Ocean Beach for a bit. Kind of just enjoyed it, watched some of the surfers going out catching waves, which was super fun. I was just saying to Ash, I'm like, just looking at these waves, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's just like perfect wave after perfect wave rolling in, and it's like not even a storm or anything. Like, this is just how it looks like. Again, it's funny. The Pacific Ocean is just different than the Atlantic in so many ways, and one is that they get a lot more surfable waves than we do.
I bet.
And one of the main reasons we found ourselves in this area is a friend of the podcast, Sean, one of our friends, one of Ash's good friends, and her sister Rachel's really good friends, recommended Mike's Tacos, and he actually lived in San Diego for like 7 or 8 years, so recommendation came pretty high, I think, on our list, since he lived there for a while and was like, this is the taco place to check out. So we were looking forward to it, and Mike's Tacos was really good. Just like, I don't know how else to describe it, just very good fresh tacos, not super expensive. We just sat outside, watched like the water and stuff, checked out Mike's Tacos.
That was your favorite taco?
Yeah, that was pretty much my favorite taco the entire time. And kind of walking around Ocean Beach, and we actually checked out, I think it was Ocean Beach Brewery. I'm going to look up that right now. I was forgetting. Yep, Ocean Beach Brewery in San Diego. So that was like right across the way, almost in Ocean Beach, and we walked to that, and they had probably the notable thing about that place, their beer was like decent, but they had like a rooftop deck you could just look out on and just watch the ocean, and again, just watch surfers catching waves and stuff. So it was fun.
It's California, dude.
Yeah. It's just, we were just chilling, eating tacos, going to another brewery, walking around, taking pictures of surfers and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
It's California, man.
It's California, baby. And we chilled there for a bit and did the usual kind of our usual routine. I feel like of this day was like, go back to the hotel, get ready for dinner, chill out. We did hit the pool one of the days at the hotel, which was nice. I didn't mention that, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And for that night, we decided to go to Pizza Bella and also check out Old Town. So this actually wasn't into Little Italy. Finally, we're deviating a little bit.
Yeah.
Old Town is another neighborhood in San Diego. Gaslamp is another one that's sort of adjacent to it that has the old gas lamps that they would light on the streets. We didn't actually make it to Gaslamp while we were there, but that's probably another cool place to check out. I went there back in 2019. It's mostly a lot of bars and restaurants. Probably a little bit more of like a college bro vibe than other places in San Diego.
I'm into the college bro vibe, dude.
Yeah.
I can do that.
But yeah, Gaslamp, I would describe, at least from what I've heard of it, is kind of more like that. But we checked out Pizza Bella in Old Town, and I have to say, for coming from like where we live in New England in the Northeast, like I feel like we have a lot of good pizza places, and the pizza was actually very good. A lot of toppings, just super tasty. The one unfortunate thing is that we didn't have like anywhere to put like leftover pizza that we had, so like it just went to waste. We were just saying,
no little fridge. You didn't have a little fridge?
We had a little fridge, but it was one of the ones where if you moved anything, they charged you for it. Like, it said flat out on the brochure, like even if you just take something out, it'll charge you for it. They don't care if you drink it or not. It's like one of those weight sensor ones. So
I wasn't about to waste food in the fridge.
Exactly. The fridge is like almost, I was sliding some waters in the top of it to keep them cold occasionally, but number one, the fridge didn't stay that cold, and number two, I didn't want to get charged for like a $20 beer or whatever, like, or soda, like in the fridge.
$15 so that was kind of unfortunate. Pistachios.
Yeah, they had one of those too in there. You gotta be careful with those hotels sometimes, especially if you go to Las Vegas. They're really good at doing that.
That reminded me of an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm when Larry David's like convinces somebody to let him like make the like the pick out the items that are going to go into the fridges of their new hotel, and he puts like figs, like just all this weird crap. And they're like,
That's
yeah,
funny.
no, we're not doing that.
That's pretty funny. I got to check out that show. I haven't checked out that show yet.
It's really good.
Yeah, Pizza Bell in Old Town was really good. Ate there, had some really tasty pizza and some apps and stuff. And they did have tacos on the menu, or like taco pizza if you didn't want that and you still wanted to go Mexican vibe and not go full Italian. And being in Old Town, and this is more a thing that Ash purely knew because she's into like horror stuff a bit more than I am. Though I will say I've heard of this house because I kind of am into that like spooky stuff. But the Whaley House is in Old Town in San Diego, California, which I don't know. Have you heard of the Whaley House, Josh?
No.
But just look it up. It's to say the least, it's a super haunted house, and they do tours and stuff. We weren't about to tour it because number one, we didn't have reservations, and number two, frankly, I don't know if I want to go to the most haunted house in San Diego while we're there and bring something back to Joshua Tree with us. We didn't need that. We didn't need a chance of that happening. Can
I just say a bold statement? I don't want to go in the most haunted house in any city.
Yeah. Because even that, Ash was like, would you want to check it out? I'm like, no, I don't want to. It's not even in the daylight.
It would have been.
Because it was like, I don't know, it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night when we walked by it. And it was spooky enough walking by it. I just took some pictures and I'm like, should I even take pictures of this? Like, is that like a thing? Like, do I want a picture of this?
It would have been cool.
Am I going to get something weird?
It would have been cool if it was the adult tour and you can drink if you want and you can say whatever the hell you want.
They might even do stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised because it is California. Probably not. That seems kind of daring for a haunted house. But yeah, if you're curious about the Whaley House, I won't go into it. Just look it up. A lot of creepy stuff has happened there. And there's a reason it's sort of known as like the most haunted house in the United States. No joke. Which again, why I don't need to go in that on my vacation. I'm good.
Yeah, no.
It's all good.
No.
Cool to walk by. That was it. And that concluded our last night there. And the next day, 4/23, we were going to head out to Joshua Tree. So I'll end the journey there for now. And hopefully that this was somewhat useful between me going around in some roundabout statements, trying to recall what I did. I did bullet this out. But hopefully it's helpful if you're going to San Diego, in the area, whatever. Got some stuff to check out, some breweries, restaurants. San Diego Zoo, 150% recommend. Above probably almost anything else to check out, even if you're in the city for like a couple days. Balboa Park and the zoo were fantastic. And I think it's a good thing to do. Like if you have kids or whatever, like they'll have a blast there for sure. As long as they can kind of walk around and deal with hanging out outside. But
yeah, man, that was a great San Diego recap. There's a lot there. And we still got two more parts. We still got Joshua Tree. And we still got San Jacinto.
Or San Jacinto.
San
Jacinto.
So
yeah,
keep an eye out because those episodes will be coming soon. And Nick, I'm sure you're gonna be dropping some videos and photos on the PUDs Instagram for the people to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to keep pretty active with at least sharing on our PUD story what I was posting, going through pictures. I'm just starting to kind of go through and narrow down pictures from my camera, and I took some. Like I said, I took a video I was going to say San Cabrillo, the Cabrillo National Monument, kind of little hike we did down there. If you are curious when that goes up, obviously I'll plug it through our socials as well. But I'm sure there'll be way more pictures to come. I got some awesome pictures of animals at the zoo and stuff that I'm pretty stoked on, including that leopard. Jaguar, whatever it was.
I'm looking. Yeah. I can't wait to see that one. But you took that one with your actual camera.
Yeah. I got a new to me used telephoto lens, like a 100 to 300 millimeter telephoto lens, like specifically for like animals and stuff. And because I just haven't bought one yet, and like over the year I've had the camera, and I was glad I did because I got some cool pictures of a lot of stuff.
Nice. That's so good.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right, man. You want to get into the descent?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it quick because we went kind of long. Nick had a lot of good information to share, but I just finished watching the new Fallout series on Amazon Prime.
Oh man, I'm curious how that is.
Yeah, did you ever play any of the Fallout games?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I played I think Fallout. Maybe it's not the newest one. I think it was Fallout 3 or Fallout 4.
Is it the one that's in like Lexington and Concord, like in Massachusetts?
No, it's not that one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's
sure.
This one's actually in. They shoot this one, or this one's set in California. So, no, it was actually really good. I've only played a little bit of Fallout, but I know the basic story, and no, they did a really good job telling the story, and there's some really good actors in it. So, yeah, check that out. Amazon Prime.
Cool, man.
You want to do a hypothetical before we head out?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I was trying to think if there's anything that we watched, but to be honest, there's not really anything new that we watched. Really didn't. I really wanted to watch the new Dune while we were out there, but it just didn't happen. So I'm sure it'll happen sometime.
No time to go to the movies while you're on vacation.
No, dude.
You saved that for the the Lincoln Theater in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Let's hear this week's hypothetical.
All right, man. So, Nick, think of someone who is your friend. Do not select your best friend, but make sure the person is someone you would classify as considerably more than an acquaintance. This friend is going to be attacked by a grizzly bear. Now, this person will survive the bear attack. That is guaranteed. There is a 100% chance that your friend will live. However, the extent of his injuries is unknown. He might receive nothing but a few superficial scratches, but he might also lose a limb or multiple limbs. He might recover completely in 24 hours with nothing but a great story, or he might spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Somehow, you have the ability to stop the attack from happening. You can magically save your friend from the bear, but his salvation will come at a peculiar price. If you choose to stop the bear, it will always rain. For the rest of your life, wherever you go, it will be raining. Sometimes it will pour, and sometimes it will drizzle. This is hilarious.
This is such a weird one.
But
this is so specific. I like it.
But it will never not be raining. But it won't rain over the totality of Earth, nor will it...
What the
nor will the hydrological cycle be disrupted. These storm clouds will be isolated, and they will focus entirely on your specific whereabouts. You will never see the sun again. Do you stop the bear and accept a lifetime of rain?
That's so tough.
It's so good. It's so good.
I like how I was really worried about the hydrological stages of the Earth being coming into play with this. Yeah. I like how they cover every single angle with the hypotheticals.
All right, so
I don't know, I feel like I always go first, so I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
All right, I'm gonna recap it real quick. So it's not your best friend. It's a friend. Okay, it's a friend. They're attacked by a bear.
That's someone that's more than acquaintance, but not a good friend.
They are attacked by a bear, and they will not die, but you don't know the severity. They could lose both legs, but they'll survive. But if you stop the bear attack, then it'll be basically, you'll never see the sun. It's going to rain every day. Yeah, I am 100% letting that bear attack my friend.
Yeah, as bad as I feel, I'm going to be completely honest. And also, here's my justification in my mind of it. Why is this grizzly bear attack happening? Because the hypothetical didn't explain that. Maybe this person's run up to grizzly bear and is he like, hey grizzly bear, you're an idiot. Why don't you attack me? And then they get attacked by a grizzly bear. Like, I don't feel bad. I don't go like, you don't go poking a grizzly bear. Like, what if this person's just an idiot and I don't know that they're like this? Yeah,
if that makes you feel better, you can pretend that that's what they did.
But raining for every day for the rest of your life sounds awful.
Oh, it sounds terrible.
Yeah,
especially like you. Especially you, like you do so many outdoor activities, dude. It's always gonna be.
Oh my god, I couldn't hike with anybody ever again.
Yeah, couldn't do anything.
I'm doing it for those people.
Yeah.
For you, I'm doing it for you, Josh. Think of all the time we golfed. It just rained every single time because you were hanging out with me.
You can never go to the beach.
Dude, it'd probably be enough that you wouldn't golf with me anymore after a while. You'd probably be like, I've golfed with Nick 30 times in a row and it rains every single time. And it pours or it rains every single time. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely letting that bear. I'm letting that bear attack my friend.
Sorry, friend who's more than acquaintance, but not a good friend.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. I mean, hopefully you don't lose any limbs. Yeah, hopefully it's just a couple scratches.
They'll probably be fine.
Maybe somebody else will like jump in and save them for me.
Yeah, you never know. Again, I say, why are they putting them themselves in that situation? That's my outlook.
Yeah, don't be in a situation where you're around that grizzly bear anyways. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a good one. All right, dude.
All right, man.
Yeah, looking forward to the next few episodes as we continue to recap your trip to San Diego and California, and just looking forward to hearing that, dude.
Yeah. I did want to give a quick shout out to my mom, who probably won't listen to this, Meme Claire, and Meme Lisa, who probably will potentially listen to this. But thanks again we're lucky. I do want to not lose sight, I guess, of the fact that we're lucky that we have people and family at home to watch Rylan, because we did not take Rylan with us on this trip, which I don't think I actually mentioned yet. Yeah. Probably. I just was assuming. Yeah. But yeah, we chose not to take our like year-and-a-half daughter with us. And part of that's because it was a trip that we kind of planned out and envisioned a while ago. And just I guess we just wanted to be ourselves. It's like, I guess you can say that as parents, like we haven't been on a trip by ourselves and like literally since our honeymoon, since we got married like 5 years ago. So,
of course.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but just a shout out to both the memes. They crushed it, especially since we got delayed, and they did an awesome job. And I know Rylan had a blast, and we missed her, I think, more than she missed us. I think it's probably fair to say.
100%.
Pretty fair to say at this stage of the game.
100%.
Yeah, she was excited to see us, but it was definitely like she just kept busy going to zoos and playing with the memes. So thanks, memes.
It was a vacation for her too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were saying it was memecation. She was on.
Yeah, those are two lovely ladies you got in your life, buddy.
They are. We're very lucky.
But all right, guys. Remember, like, review, subscribe. Find us on social media at PUDs Podcast. And we'll see you next time. Bippity boppity. Give me the zoppity.
Bye. PUDs Podcast was produced and recorded in Black Cat Studios by the Pud Boys. Find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving us a review and subscribing. Find us on social media, and we'll see you next time.